ahead and show you guys what I am up to. I am going to be making a bee-themed journal, bees and lavender. And this is with one of my kits that I designed. So I'm going to be taking these papers, and they are printed on one side, and on the other side of all of them is blank. So I'm going to be taking all of these and distressing them using my black tea solution. I made this by boiling water and adding about 10 bags of black tea. And it's just, that's all it is. And I boiled it for a while, and that's how I got that. So I'm going to distress these papers using the tea. So the fronts will still look like this. And the backs will be distressed with the tea bags. And I'm also going to use some stamps on the back with some distress inks. My Tim Holtz distress inks. So I will go ahead and get that out real quick. I think I'm going to use ground espresso, maybe some vintage photo, and some villainous potion. Yeah, those three colors I'll use. Maybe I'll use some, because I'll also use some wild honey. That goes with the bee theme. So those are the four colors that I'll be using with my tea dyeing. So let's just get started. Some of these papers, my printer wasn't working very good and I got some lines on them, but I will still use those in my journal because when all is said and done, everything looks good in the end. That's the process that we're learning, is to use what you have and make it work. All right, so to begin this process, I am going to go ahead and turn my paper over to the white side. And I am just taking this old sponge brush. I have quite a few, but I'm just using this one. It's really tattered, but it doesn't matter for this because all I'm going to be doing is taking it, dipping it in my tea, and wetting my page with tea. Now you can also dab it if you want, kind of get some spots on your papers. Whatever you're feeling like doing. This is kind of more of a free to be creative and just, have fun kind of process. You don't have to be careful on this process. I think the biggest and most important thing to do is have fun and enjoy the process. So I'm just using this old pan that I had in my kitchen to catch the water. So I'll start with the wild honey. And I'm just going to, this is Distress Oxide by Tim Holtz. It's Ranger brand. But I'll just go ahead and use my block stamp. And you can use any stamp you have. It doesn't have to be a stamp like this. Whatever you have available. A flower stamp, a leaf stamp. Whatever you feel motivated to use. And since this is very wet, it was going to kind of give it a distressed look because it's so wet. And that's okay, because that's what I want. I want kind of a more distressed look to this stamp. I don't want it to be extremely clear. I just want it to give some interest to the background. So that's what I'm going for. All right. And we will get our next paper. And, I don't know if I want it on the front, all that stuff, so maybe I will just go ahead and put this one flat and rub them together and get that one wet that way. And we will see what happens later on with that one. You can always add stuff to it later if you want to. Like if you get them all dried out and you decide, oh, that one doesn't have enough, you can add more later. So don't stress about it. Okay, now I'm putting this one face down and I'm going to add more tea. You want to get it wet. Don't be afraid to get it wet. This is going to give it that distressed look, and it's going to give the papers more interest when you go to put them in your journal. This time I'm going to use ground coffee distress oxide, and I think I will try my leaves. I think I got this stamp on Amazon, but it was a while ago, so the brand says Stupendous. So I'll try to find the link, but I can't guarantee anything. And then just stamp it. And I like the watercolored look to that, so I'm doing that on purpose. Kind of, when it's dry, it will just give a hint of a stamp rather than a bold imprint. So that is what I'm going for. All right. I think that one's good. Now where's and the next page, I'm going to put it face down again. Or face up, I'm sorry. And rub them together. And then this one I will go ahead and put down and get it wet. You can also do this with just regular printer paper. If you are starting out with just plain white paper and you don't have one that you pre-printed out, you can go ahead and use whatever you have, whatever stamps you have. If you don't have stamps, you can always draw on them, or you can use, I'm using the same ground espresso that I used on the other one. And I'm using the same print too. But my point is to use whatever you have. And that way, it makes your project unique and makes it so that nobody else has anything quite like yours. And that's what makes these journals so special, is each one is a little more unique and a little bit, I don't know, just special because it's your own thing. Okay, I'm putting this one face up and rubbing those together. And you know what, you guys, I don't even know what this is going to look like when I'm done. But whatever it looks like, we can always add stuff to it if we want to later on. So you don't need to stress about it. Okay, I'm putting the white side up on this one. And here we go again. If you want to make your tea solutions ahead of time and keep them in a jar or a spray bottle, you can do that. I've never tried it yet, but I've heard that you can add a little bit of rubbing alcohol in there, and it will keep it from turning sour, because I guess tea can turn sour as well. Alright, this one I'm going to try some Villainous Potion Distress Oxide. Get some of that purple going in there, because we do have this kit is called Lavender and Bumblebees, and it was my idea to kind of mix those golds and purples and yellows all together to create a kit and a journal that, I don't know, I just like those colors, and I just think they complement each other a lot, so I wanted to make a kit with those specific colors in mind. This one's kind of pretty. Wasn't expecting that green to come through. I think that might have been some ink that I left on my stamp. But I like it. Okay. Now, let's see. And these ones are like postcards and tags that I will cut out, fussy cut later, but for now, just going to lay them down. And it's okay to have that on the back of those tags. I might not use the back, I might glue them to something else, so you won't even see the back, but if you do, then you have something on there. Same with these are more tags that you can be cut out, and like just little sayings. So I'm going to go ahead and do the back of this one. And I think I will use some more of the Villainous Potion. I really like that color. And I will try this side, this stamp. And then just stamp it on there. Okay. And we will put the next one on there. These are more tags. And if you like the clean look, you don't want to grungy up your papers or to distress them, you skip this process and just use the clean white papers. Everybody's different about what they like. I personally like it to look more vintage and kind of grungy. Not super grungy, but you know, kind of a little worn. And this is what this process accomplishes. Okay, and then this is, I thought with this sheet, the reason I designed it this way with the queen bee on this side and the flowers on this side, because I thought if somebody wanted to, they could use that image for the front of the journal. And it says queen bee on it already. Or you can use it for the front of one of your signatures. Either way, I just thought it was cute that way. And then you have the flowers on the other side. Okay, so let's get this one ready. Alright, and on this one, I'm going to try the vintage photo. I think I will try these ones. I don't know that I've done these ones yet. It's just like a little leaf pattern. Put a little bit more on there. Okay. Then I have this bumblebee one. And on the other side, oh, I printed these ones with, I think I did all of them with this writing stuff on the back. So, let me think. I think I will grungy up the writing side more than the printed side. And it will come through to the front a little bit. But when it's dry, it will look good. I'll go ahead and get a little T on here. Now with the lined paper, I mean, you don't have to do this because it is already printed out, so it's just whatever you prefer doing. I'm gonna try this, and the good thing about the kit is I can always reprint it again as many times as I want to because it's online. So, and if anybody decides they want to get the kit, just know that you can reprint it as many times as you need to. I'm going to try the wild honey this time, and I'm going to try these leaves. Just put a few on there. I don't want it too dark because, just because. And then I just keep going. All right. This one, again, it's printed paper on both sides. I think so far, my favorite color on these has been the Villainous Potion. Just because it's so purple, I love that purple color. But when it dries, you might get a whole nother look. So these inks are water-based inks, so the more you get them wet, the more they're going to react. So just keep that in mind when you're using them. I'm going to use the Villainous Potion again, and I'm using this stamp. I'm just getting over being sick. I just have this cough that doesn't want to go away. I'm pretty much well except for the cough. It just wants to linger. Okay. And then I think I will put this one face down. This is this one. I'm going to go ahead and do this side. And the kit comes with the lined print as well, so that's another thing, is if you don't want to leave the backs blank, you could always just use the lined paper on the other side, print it out that way on your kit. That's why it's there. And you could skip this process completely. You don't even have to do this. But again, like I said, I like the idea of the more vintage look that this gives it. Alright, I'm going to try some ground espresso. I already knew about tea dyeing, and from watching videos. I've been watching other people's videos for quite a while now. But I just learned this technique of stamping by watching Artie Mays. And I thought, oh, I really like that. So thought I'd hop on here and try it on film. So this is my first time actually trying the stamping process. Right along with you guys. Alright. Go ahead and do this side. I will be making a journal cover for this because I'm going to sew these signatures. Well, I would for any journal, but I'm going to make one that you actually sew the signatures in, and I will do that on film so you guys can see the process of doing it. There's a lot of ways to make covers and to sew signatures in. I'm just going to show you the way that I like to do it. But there are a lot of ways, and I'll try things in the future that maybe I haven't tried before, and we'll learn together. Okay. And have this again. Nothing on the back. Another white page. When I am done doing this, I will put these outside because it's hot here. I'm in Arizona, so I will go ahead and put them outside as long as the wind's not blowing too hard, and let them dry, air dry. If you don't live in a hot climate, you could always put them in a low oven, like at 300 degrees, and just check on them. Keep checking on them, making sure they're not burning up in there, because you don't want to burn your papers. So, but I suggest air drying them if you're able. It's just safer, and it takes a little longer, but it is safer. You don't have to use up your electricity. Okay. That was ground espresso that I just used. Now I'm going to put this on top of it. Let it soak up that other sheet. You guys are getting this process right. You're already pros. One reason why I like doing this type of stuff is because it just helps me relax, and I can be creative at the same time without worrying too much on what it looks like or how it's turning out, because when you do this type of art, oh, of course, I have a little gnat in here. You can just keep adding layers until it looks the way you want it to look. I'm going to use some more Villainous Potion on this one. Because of that round bumblebee, I don't really want it showing on the bumblebee, so I'm going to keep this to the sides on this one. Because I don't know how much it's going to show on the other side. So I'm not going to go over the bumblebee. I'm just going to go around it. Okay. And I'll go ahead and put this down. Face down. And this one this way. Add some more tea. The more tea you add, probably the darker your pages will turn out. So, and every tea is a little different. This is my first time using tea. I've used coffee before, and coffee will give you another type of look. But there are a lot of ways even to dye your papers. You can do eco dyeing, where you use flowers in between each page, and the flowers, I guess, will bleed onto the page, which I have not tried yet. And I want to one of these days. I think I'm going to use some more Villainous Potion, but a different stamp. Let's see. Okay. And this one I printed just the bumblebees on the back. And then that one on the front. And that's another thing you can do with the kit. If you like just the bumblebees on the back, then that's another option to the lined paper. And that is it. I will film again when these are dry and let you guys see the results.